be calling your article, I'm working on my flag painting, and I want people to understand that I gave up on the contemporary sheep a long time. I learned the hard way. I had 3 radio shows. I had such a massive audience. You name it, I was on it, you know, and so the volume and the contemporaryism is not your friend. And I mean, I learned the hard way. In fact, it's your enemy. You know, so my videos are for a very specific audience, sometimes targeted to an audience of 1, you know, and so I know what I'm doing. To be contemporizing the art scene right now, what a giant fucking failure. To be contemporizing in anything, that's why this is so important as far as the artist goes. Look, the Modern Museum. I mean, I protested there so many times at the MoMA. I'm so glad that I got close to having a show inside the MoMA in New York City. I'm so glad I didn't, because now that I know that for the last 20 years it's been run by Epsteiners. And if you don't believe me, look up Leon Black. You know, you don't believe me, look up not Jeffrey Toobin, the 9, who I hear is more like the 4, the Freudian fuck Blanche. Dubin. Jeffrey's coming over to read the girls a bedtime story. Epstein. I mean, those people, whoa. I'm so glad. I mean, to be contemporized and be in any museum over the last 20 years is a giant failure. It's a clique, it's a club. In fact, it's a spit into the face to any real artist. You're done. If you've had a show inside one of these modern museums, any museum for that matter, really in the last 20, 30 years, you're done, historically. I mean, because they're that captured and they're that fucked up. So this is important as you make the art. There she is. I've been waiting for my new bracelet. By the way, I always tell her, you're the best looking freaking male lady in history. She's something. I love her. By the way, she's my age too, 62. She's incredible, you know. So making the art as it comes. Let's go out and get it. God, what timing, right? So I didn't lose my bracelet, my 1% survival bracelet. I actually wore it out. I told one of my doctors that. I texted him yesterday and he says, God, what an accomplishment. Because I was given 2 months to live, as you know. And he says, I'm going on the 11-year. Light the Night is Saturday. And so I'm going to get a podcast. I need to do it on history. People are all over me. A lot of people have been. For my daughter Burroughs, who's 97 now, and telling me for years, Kevin, you got that book done? God, there it is. Yes, nice. On cue. So that's perfect because, as you know, I call myself the 2012 San Francisco Giants, and Aaron Judge was a huge 2012 San Francisco Giants fan. And I call him the Big SUR-REAL, as you know, rightfully so. And he did the press conference last night, and the first thing he said, how does it feel? And he says, surreal. He's from that area, Big Sur. And he's built like a sequoia. I mean, he's a sequoia. He's built like, you know, the great redwoods, which God. I mean, think about contemporary culture cutting down 96% of those. Nice. God. Wrap it up. Play some baseball. So, it's 62, and I want to talk about this. You know, and I can't stand sports writers and these people that have these things all over. They're horrid. They're absolutely horrid. They're fucking morons. Regurgitating fucking sheep. I can't stand it. It's sad. There it is. So I got me a new one. Nice. Thrilled. Get it open. That's my daughter. He says, God, I'm so thrilled for you, Kevin. Given 2 months to live, you actually wore out a survivor's bracelet. So I got a new one. It's got a K on me. Nice. thrilled. Came early. Got perfect timing. Perfect weather we have here right now. There it is. Whew, I'm very relieved. So, where's your pans? Oh, there they are. I want any of you so-called sports writers or you blah, 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 blah. I want any of you athletes try this. Try what I do. I want you to try it. Try it. You know, old wood, axe handle, whatever you can find. Put behind the back. Give me a real baseball. Oh, I hit one the other night over the road. Just eek. So let's get back to this. This is important. So art is supposed to be made at the moment that it happens. Modern art. Why would the museums not show it? You know, I made all the Fukushima art. Video killed the media. So now let's stay with me. 62. Oh, it's the real record. Now 61, very debatable. I was never a fan of Maris 61 and 61 because of the fact that he had, what, 9 more games than Babe Ruth had. 60. Oh, yeah. Ruth did it in 154. Now, let's talk about Judge. Judge had 60 at the same mark Ruth did. Yeah, at the same mark, so it's legit. Maris had an extra 9 games, and the baseball commissioner and everybody agrees with me on that. 61, 60, but I still go back to 60 and 27. I mean, Ruth was all that, but remember, Babe Ruth, in 1950, the AP sports writers, you can look it up, voted on the greatest baseball player, not athlete. They also voted on the greatest athlete of the first half of the century. The greatest athlete won by a landslide, that was Jim Thorpe. But the greatest baseball player they voted on, got to be the Babe, right? Babe Ruth, who, by the way, grew up in an orphanage. Is he of mixed race? It's very debatable, possibly. Baltimore orphanage. Judge adopted. A lot of similarities. So, 61. Well, 62 is the real record. He got it last night, but now stay with me. Fukushima, I made all the art. And like I said, these videos are specific for a very tight audience. You know, going to be a pennant. Am I going to cut it in two? Someday, maybe. I'll sell it to Aaron Judge. He's playing again today at 2 o'clock. Now, he's got a chance at the Triple Crown. And this is important because I call myself the 2012 San Francisco Giants. The greatest comeback in sport history, bar none. They lost the first 2 games. I was full of cancer. I was in a bone marrow transplant, clinging to life. In 2012, as you know, I went into bone marrow transplant 11/11/11. Looked like it wasn't working. Was going to fucking start to prep me for death. October 9th, 2012. The Giants had lost 2 at home. They're in the NLDS. By the way, it's disgraceful that we're now the October Classic's and November Classic. The greed of baseball is over the top. It's sickening. And by the way, my hat's off to the young man who got the ball. Good for you. I love these camera guys going, you going to give it to Aaron Judge? Yeah, I'm going to give it to a billionaire. Like he needs a little more money. Yeah. Oh, well, you got to do the right thing and give it to him. Shut the fuck up. I'm glad what he said. I don't know. That ball is worth millions. It's not McGuire. It's not Sosa. It's the legit record. It's worth millions. So in 2012, they lost 2. They go to Cincinnati. I'm watching the game in my room. It looks like I'm going to die. I mean, I'm clinging to life. I'm just clinging and clinging and clinging to life. They had bone marrow biopsy that day. I am fighting, just trying to stay alive through the night. So were they. The Reds threw a 1-hitter at them. They manufactured a run late to tie it 1-1. Manufactured another one in the 10th. Pence up against the fence. Posey I mean, it's unbelievable. They stayed alive with no. They just absolutely. And then game 4, Lincecum. Lights out. Nobody threw harder than Lincecum. No one's thrown that hard since. I mean, he threw so hard his mullet would come off. Since Koufax. So, Lincecum's wife has recently passed away from this horrible disease. They come back, win. It's 2-2. They still got to win game 5. They win 3 in a row. Then they go to the great Cardinals. and they go down 3-1. They come back, win 3 in a row there. Then they sweep. So the Triple Crown. Now this is important. The Triple Crown right now. So the Triple Crown right now. I want you to think about this. Ty Cobb hit over 400 how many times? The great Ted Williams, who I still go back to 94. I should have hung up my baseball shirt. 94, I have a baseball shirt. I'll put it up for the next one after we find out how many hits. Because Judge is playing. He's alive for the Triple Crown. He's got 2 in the bag. But the batting average. How could he... Wait till you hear this. Guess what he's batting? Talk about SUR-REAL. Oh, he's batting .311 right now. Is it possible he'd have to go 4 for 4? But you're in the race for the Triple Crown at .311? I mean, Gwynn, I go back to 94. Not just Tony Gwynn, but Kenny Lofton. I mean, pressing 400. Cobb hit over 400 times. Ted Williams, we have the beer in San Diego and PB and, 394. Where's the 406? Where's the 408? Ted Williams from San Diego. So he's playing today. It ain't over, and I got a hunch it might not end up being 62. So that ball, the kid that owns it, he's hoping he doesn't get another one, because 62 still be extremely valuable, but it won't be because then you'll have 63 or maybe 64 and the pressure's off. I got a hunch he might hit another one today. So I'm going to leave it, and you got to make the art as it happens. And like I said, I don't care if it gets, 34 views, which that's fine with me. I can email these to who I need, and I've learned along the way, the contemporary masses are not your friends. What you going to hit? I got some onions. So, got one more can left. So nice. Thrilled that came early. So, I got it's supposed to be in Vienna, DC. I got a lot of work to do. Fuck always one-man band blank. Try this. All you fucking blabbing sport. They're pathetic. These sports writers are pathetic after the fact, regurgitation, the analysis. I mean, they're fucking horrible. They don't talk about anything that fucking matters. The number 60. And it's Ruth and the Big SUR-REAL Judge. It's 60. They both did it on this. I mean, records matter. It's like, I like Joe Montana says all the time. He says, if they had the records the rules that Tom Brady plays with, I'd play till I was 60. Dan Marino says it best. They had the rules right now when that year in 84, when he did what he did. Of course, the Niners beat him, didn't they? He says, I'd have shattered every record in the history of football. They changed the rules. It's like, the 72 Dolphins, great. I still say it's the 84 49ers, because, they're both, 15-1? Playing the great Dolphins team was all that. By the way, how about the Patriots upsetting the next year? I can go on and on and on and on. But 60 is the number. Not anymore. That number still stands 60 in my mind for one reason, because it was done in 150 games. And when they played the World Series today, not in November, these greedy fucks. Why don't you just fucking do it all year round? It's so greedy, it's so disgusting. The average baseball player in 1975 made less than 3 times the average working class American. Sickening greed, I used to go to Kansas City all the time because my parents would send us out there, we'd go visit my auntie, whatever, to get rid of us. Because under 12 was free. You used to go to the Murph, I didn't call it Murph, San Diego Stadium, which is my favorite stadium of all time. They just tore it down for why? Under 12 free. I mean, my daughters, asked them about freaking going to games. We went to so many freaking great Padres games, saw Tony Gwynn. Kids were $3. You get a great ticket. Clear up to 94 for $10. Fuck, not anymore. It's disgusting. It's sickening. It's greed. One up the middle. So he needs base hits if he's going to triple crown. He's not going to get the triple crown. He'd go for 4. It's possible. But you make the art as it happens. And I don't give a shit if these videos get 30, because I learned along the way. It is hard when I used to get, back in the day, 2011, 2012, while I'm full of cancer, I had 3 radio shows. I used to spend hours. I remember being in the bone marrow transplant center, so sick trying to police my sight. from trolls when the United States government, the DOE and the NEE, which I proved it went to the FBI, physically hired teams of trolls. There were dozens of Facebook pages and YouTube sites in those days, 100% dedicated to attacking Kevin Blanch, slandering while I'm in critical condition. So, will it be 62? I'll paint it as it happens. Through this game. I wore the other one out. You know, will it be 63? Maybe even 64. We'll see, but that's the number I lean on. Ruth and Judge both did it in 150 some odd games. What was it, 151? 152? The thing that makes this so significant, we had this 30 years of cheaters on Balco. A lot of that's getting erased right now, isn't it? By one guy. And the pressure on him, you could see it, you know. I mean, Maris used to talk about it. He says, I didn't even want it. I mean, it's almost ruined my life. You could see the pressure, you know, and my hat's off to the young man who caught that ball. Good for you, man. Don't you dare give it to these billionaire assholes. You sell that. You sell that ball. And don't you give it up for no $2 million. It's worth 5, maybe 10. You know, baseball wants it. They got plenty of money, the greedy fuckers. The greed works both ways. They want to be greedy. How much did they charge you for that fucking ticket? They want to be greedy. You be fucking greedy. It works both ways. Cooperstown, you can have it. 10 fucking million. You know, stand your ground. Stand your ground. Fuck, they want to be greedy right back. Don't you give it to those pieces of shit. You don't owe them fuckers nothing. 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 So I'm thrilled for the judge, which I call the Big SUR-REAL. Because he's born there. You know, and I spent so much of my life there doing so much work. And so I'll paint it as it happens. My paintings, I'm so glad I've not shown up. Well, this is the museum. I mean, so stand tuned. Will it be 63? That kid just got the ball saying, oh no, no 63 or 6. And you didn't think he'd play. They probably just rest him for the playoffs. Not when he's got a chance at the Triple Crown. Now maybe if he gets out his first AB at 205, they might set him down, but you know, because he's going after that Triple Crown. So remember, the last Triple Crown winner, Ted Williams? No, the Tigers. Remember those Tigers? He was the Triple Crown winner, first one forever since Yastrzemski in '67. Giants, 2012. Once they made a comeback, you couldn't hold them down. They swept them. It's a major accomplishment. And if you don't think culture mirrors baseball, you know shit. And like I said, I don't care if 23 people watch this video. You know, and I'm thrilled for him. He's a class act. Aaron Judge is nothing but a class act. I like everything about him. You know, he's respectful. He's down to earth. He's incredible. You know, and so I guess you got to be when you're that size. You know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell. Of course, then there's the great Wilt Chamberlain. He was that size. Whoa. That was a whole nother level of athlete, right? So we'll paint it as it happens. Will it be 62? Will it be 63? And we'll fly this flag banner one day at a real museum. Because these museums in the United States, I am so glad I never got into the MoMA in New York City. And almost, I came that fucking close. You know, protesting in the spirit of the great Jackson Pollock. You gotta drip. You gotta drip. So, it's historic as it gets, as far as Americana goes. The great American experiment. I'll break out the baseball shirt, flipping the bird in '94. Long live the great Tony Gwynn. Why is Kenny Lofton not in the Hall of Fame? Will it be 62? Or will it be 63? Or maybe 64? We'll find out here in just a bit. Stand tuned.